Hello, everyone, and welcome to Everything But the Cats, the podcast where we talk about every single thing under the sun, except for one very specific thing. My name's Gage.
We don't talk about who I am. That's the thing. Just kidding. I'm DJ.
And today
And this is our friend SpongeBob.
Yeah, we are joined by SpongeBob today. No, we are joined today. We're joined by Mr. SquarePants. This is our friend from college. And Mr. SquarePants, what are we talking about today?
Everything but the cats.
Oh, good.
Dope intro.
Good. This is going to be a very long episode, so buckle up and let's go.
We are talking about all things football related, of which I don't know anything about cats, but I've heard they're football shaped and sized.
Can confirm.
And can be treated like one.
Approximately.
If you're brave enough. Anyways, we're going to be talking about football. Now, there is a specific relationship that this podcast has with Hayden, which is our friend's real name.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
we have actually had him on before, but this time we are specifically diving into football. And we told a story about Hayden on our Guess the Guest episode, part 2. And he would like to set the record straight on something that we said back then before we dive in.
All right. So real story is 2 stories because DJ conflated the 2 falsely.
Like a tool bag.
Right. Like a bag of tools. So the Rams used to play in St. Louis, which is a convenient 4-hour drive from Joplin, where we all went to college. And that was sweet, like easy game to go to every year because the Seahawks and the Rams happened to be in the same division. And so it was like a really cool convenience for me. Like every year I get a guaranteed home game. Midway through college, they moved away, which was disappointing, like right when I was in college. But the Rams were terrible at the time, and so I was able to get tickets for like $10 in the nosebleeds and then sneak down after halftime. Anyways, I went my first year. My second year, I happened to sit next to this girl in Principles of Interpretation class who was wearing a Seahawks jersey. I was like, what? No way. Like, I'm a Seahawks fan too, blah, blah, blah. And she had moved there from Southern Washington State. And I was like, hey, there's a Seahawks game next week. Do you want to go? And she's like, wait, what? Like, they're playing here? And I was like, yeah, the Rams, blah, blah, blah. And so we worked out the details and we discussed. I said, I'm willing to drive. However, my car, is not the most reliable thing in the world. And so she just said she offered to drive. She had a way nicer car than me. We worked out the details. We stayed with a friend overnight. So it was definitely not me bumming a ride. I was going no matter what. I had already been the year before. It was more like, let's carpool to this thing.
Sure.
Now, the second story isn't even related to the car. Like, we just carpooled, I guess. That's the extent of the car relation. Now, the second story is that the year prior, the Seahawks had gone to the Super Bowl that we will not speak of, but the ending we will not speak of. But the Super Bowl, at that time, Super Bowl tickets were running around $1,500 for the years prior, which isn't like an unthinkable amount of money. I really wanted to go and didn't have the money for it. And I was like, hey, you know what? I've been thinking about like upgrading cars. Maybe I could like sell my car for a chunk of change and use that leftover money to buy a different car and some Super Bowl tickets. And I posted it on our school's buy and sell page and got absolutely shredded. Everyone was making fun of me. And to this day, I mean, it's been 10 years and I still get people that will randomly approach me in Joplin because I'm back in Joplin now, small town, and be like, dude, do you remember that time you tried to sell your car on the OCC buy and sell for Super Bowl tickets? And what's funny is they think like I should be like, oh, wow, how immature of me, but I still stand by.
Great.
Unfortunately, tickets, well, first of all, they removed my post from the buy and sell page for, they thought, not being serious, but I was. And second, the tickets that year was actually the first year that this happened where like they inflated terribly. So basically StubHub, Ticketmaster, maybe you've heard all the news about them. But basically, they bought and promised more tickets than they actually had, which led to a bubble and a shortage, and prices spiraled out of control, leading to like tickets being $10,000 the day before the Super Bowl instead of like $2 to $3 grand like they normally are. And my brother, who has way more money than me, like tried to go, and even at halftime, he tried to get back in, and the scalpers were like, "Nope, $5 grand or nothing." And he was like, "I'm not paying $5 grand to watch half a game, you know." But I have family in Phoenix, and so I ended up flying in just to like be there in the area during the Super Bowl weekend. I thought, you know, close enough, better than watching it, you know, in Joplin with who knows who. So yeah, that is the true story of what happened.
You heard that first, folks. We stand corrected.
This is
You're
our
sitting,
official
You sit
redaction.
corrected.
We do sit corrected.
You
DJ stands corrected.
DJ, you don't have to not wear pants, you know.
That's just a Zoom call.
So Hayden, first and foremost, I do want to say I'm happy you stand by it. That proves character, honestly.
Okay, all right. So I'm
no,
happy you stand
character
by
to it. Character to what you did. I mean,
Standing on
by
business.
it.
As
Standing on business.
Former Seahawk DK Metcalf used to say.
Happy you stand by it. I do think that standing by every choice you've ever made does not indicate character.
No, it does.
No,
Wait.
absolutely not. And I don't even think that's like I mean, you could fault that in like the maturity choice, but like, I don't think it was like an ethical wrong or right choice, you know. But
No.
Real quick, when's the last time each of you guys apologized to someone?
Probably said sorry today.
This morning?
Yeah. I never have because I'm never wrong. Losers. Just kidding. It was like 2 days ago.
You know, there is an element when I'm like debating someone, which doesn't happen very often anymore. Or I'm like willing to change my beliefs on things, but like if I don't state that going into the conversation, like, yeah, I believe with quite a bit of certainty what I'm saying, or I wouldn't say it, you know. I don't know if that's making sense to you guys, but like, I feel like I'm not phrasing that well. Oh well.
I think I know what you mean. But you mentioned it, and I'm going to go ahead and take this just a little bit out of order. You are a Seahawks fan.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about that. Where are you from, and how did you become a Seahawks fan?
Man, that is the question. That is a long one. So I was born in Miami, Florida, in 1996.
How old were you?
I like how you caught that I almost accidentally said I was born at the age of, and then you
Oh,
went
that's
with
funny.
it. Because I almost was like, wait, no, I was born. That's it, you know.
Born at the age of birth. Yeah.
Ex nihilo. Dude, it's like, okay, I'll even give it like the really like the 30-second long version. My grandpa is from Nicaragua. My grandma is from Guatemala. They met while working in the United States in California, got married, had my mom is stateside, so she's technically a U.S. citizen. My dad is born and raised white American. They went to Nicaragua for a couple years, and then there was a terrible earthquake, 1972, and a famous baseball player was delivering aid actually to Nicaragua, Roberto Clemente, when he died in a plane crash on the way to that earthquake to help people like my mom and family who were in the earthquake. They moved to Guatemala as a result of the destruction, so that's why I claim like my Guatemalan heritage. She moved stateside in her 20s for an insurance job post Hurricane Andrew, big hurricane in Florida in the 90s. I don't know if you ever heard of it. But she was able to easily do that because of her prior U.S. citizenship due to being born here stateside when her parents met here. And that's where she met my dad, who worked all sorts of jobs all around the country. And his dad used to work for Boeing when he was in Wichita, Florida, which is where he grew up. And because his dad worked for Boeing, my dad was obsessed with all things Boeing, whose headquarters is in Seattle, which made my dad obsessed with Seattle. So after a while of living in Florida, he got bored, and he had always had it in his mind he wanted to live in Seattle. And so after a few years in Miami, he packed up the family, and we all moved to Seattle in 1999 or 2000. One of the two. I don't know. I was 3 1/4. So I grew up in Seattle from the ages of 3 to 10, which are a foundational, pivotal point in a boy's childhood. And I was there in 2005, 2006, when they went to their first ever Super Bowl against the Steelers, where the refs made a terrible call that cost them the Super Bowl, and the Steelers won. And coincidentally, we moved to Phoenix a year or two later, right when the Steelers played the Cardinals in the Super Bowl, and the Steelers won again. And not that I'm a Cardinals fan, but I was rooting against the Steelers, and living in Arizona was cool-ish, you know. So those 7 years I was there. Now, I did move from the ages of 10 to 18 to Arizona, but that kind of sports legacy foundation had already been laid and established and instilled in me. Now, we went to Mariners games. I don't think I went to Seahawks game, but we did go to Mariners games. I probably went to a Seattle Supersonics game. May they live forever. They will come back. While they were there, that's the basketball team that was stolen and moved to overnight, literally, to Oklahoma City by the greedy, selfish owner. And I probably didn't go to Seahawks game. A little bigger investment to take a kid to one of those. But yeah, when I was in Arizona, they started coming around. My brother, fun story actually. So right around when Tebow was getting big, and I kind of was like supporting Tebow. I was like super cool Christian guy. But I still like stayed loyal to my Seahawks as well. And my dad for Christmas bought me a Tebow jersey. And I thought it was like the greatest gift I'd ever gotten. I was like, oh gosh, it would have been 2011. So 15 years old. Like, I was like, this is great gift, like greatest gift ever. My dad was on cloud nine. He had the smirk on his face of like, yeah, I've done it. Leading up to that, I saw on the calendar there's a Seahawks game, and I'm trying to get more into football because Tebow's getting big. My friends are talking about it, I'm watching it more. The Seahawks weren't good yet. And there's a Seahawks Cardinals game in Arizona, and I told my brother about it. He's like, buddy, like, I don't know, you know, like, it's a little expensive, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay. Sure enough, a few gifts later, he surprises me with tickets to that game that he had been, what's the word, like hustling me about. And I got even more excited. I was like running around the house like, no, this is the greatest gift ever. My dad's like, are you kidding me? Like, I've been superimposed. Like, this is never... He actually put effort and time into getting me a good, thoughtful gift like he's never done before. And the one time he does, he gets outdone. And we went to that game, and that was the last game before the Seahawks drafted the one and only Russell Wilson, generational, potentially future Hall of Famer quarterback. And ironically, their first game of the NFL, so that was the last game of the NFL season that season. Their first game back in the fall was also in Arizona. And so I actually got to attend Russell Wilson's first ever NFL game against the Cardinals. And we went to that game too. And my brother was like, we had just signed not Matt Hasselbeck. Somebody from the Packers. He was a backup who showed potential, and we signed him big. And then we drafted Russell Wilson, 75th pick overall in the 2012 NFL draft, and from Wisconsin. We had just drafted him. And we were like, why are we drafting this quarterback? We just signed this guy. And then turns out in training camp, he actually beats him. And a few years prior, we brought in Pete Carroll, who's a famous coach who won a national championship with the University of Southern California a couple years prior. So everyone's kind of excited. Okay, we got a good quarterback. We got a good coach now. And the year prior to that, I'm sorry, I'm like so much background knowledge.
It's fine.
Have you guys heard of the Beastquake?
No.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay. You guys have to look up the clip afterwards. But basically, 2 years prior, the Seahawks became the first team ever to make the playoffs with a losing record. The way the divisions work, if everybody is in your division is bad, it's possible to win your division and make the playoffs. And actually, the Panthers did it this year. But the Seahawks were the first team ever to do it. And the Saints had just won the Super Bowl the year prior against the Bears, I believe. So the Saints are going to Seattle as a wild card because if you win your division, you also get a hosted game, which has been a controversial rule for years. But they go into Seattle, and everyone, like the Seahawks, were big underdogs. No one expected them to win. They shouldn't even be in the playoffs, but it's a stupid rule. Everyone thinks that they're in the playoffs. The Seahawks are up one score in the fourth quarter, and they just do a simple handoff to Marshawn Lynch. And he proceeds to rip off this fantastic tackle, or breaks tackles and rips off this fantastic like 40-yard run where like multiple guys try to tackle him and miss. He jukes a guy out, and then he even jumps backwards into the end zone, like grabs his junk. And the stadium cheered so loud that the local university actually measured seismic waves on their earthquake detection devices, like a 2-point-something Richter scale magnitude earthquake. So it's been called the Beastquake, and it's like famous in history. Type in Beastquake on YouTube, it'll pull right up first thing.
You undersold it. It has its own Wikipedia article. You undersold it. It was 67 yards.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Okay, yeah, probably from the other side's 40 yards something line. One
Yeah.
of the greatest runs of all time. So Russell Wilson comes in. Pete Carroll's there. We got this great running back named Marshawn Lynch. We just had a great playoff game a couple years ago. And then I'm coming of age. I'm in high school, 2012, 16 years old. And the Seahawks have a really good year. And the next year, my senior year of high school, they win the Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning, who still holds the record for most touchdowns in a season, most yards in a season. From that season, greatest offense in NFL history, and there was even one less game back then than there is today, and we absolutely destroyed them in the Super Bowl, 43-8, and the 8 points was in garbage time. Really, absolutely annihilated them. The Legion of Doom defense, backed by Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner, hard-hitting guys who really pack a punch. All of that really led to my fandom and really digging deep. However, the next year, that Super Bowl had to humble me a little bit. We won't speak about that Super Bowl's ending, but made me not put so much into football, as you can tell just by how I'm talking about it. Like, I can remember clear as day, 13, 14 years later, all the details. I knew way too much. I was watching way too much at the time. That's a little bit of my Seahawks fandom. I think it's kind of a combination of right team, right place, right time, and age.
That's really cool. Did you ever go to a Sounders game when you were there, by the way?
I don't know because MLS is pretty new, eh?
MLS started in 1996.
When did Seattle get their team?
I think they were
I
one of the
probably
first.
didn't, to be honest.
Let me pull it up and check.
2007.
I did watch.
Seattle was founded in 2007.
In 2009
I moved in 2006.
as
So.
MLS.
Okay. Never mind.
No, it's okay. I did watch when they won the MLS Cup. I don't know what they call it.
Yes. That would have been, what, like 2015? 14, 15,
Yep.
somewhere in there?
Yeah, college. It would have been at least 15 because I remember I was with the friend who was a second year. Well, I was my second year at least. So.
Because they had Clint Dempsey at that point.
Yeah.
Did you know that Drew Carey is a part owner, a minority owner of the Seattle Sounders?
Drew Carey, just so we're clear, Drew Carey is the Whose Line Is It Anyway guy, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
He also was a Marine for a while.
Okay.
Oh,
Maybe-
that's actually
yeah.
interesting. That's like the first cool fact you've actually said.
In 2001, Drew Carey was the first television actor to enter the WWF's 30-man Royal Rumble match.
Wow.
Welcome to our show about Drew Carey specifically.
Drew Carey stood unopposed for more than half a minute, but after the next entrant, Kane, refused a monetary bribe, Carey eliminated himself from the match by jumping out of the ring.
Wish I could be in the WWF for just like 5 seconds. I feel like I've got the look down to be a television personality, specifically in the world of wrestling.
You look like I'm not going to finish that thought.
What's the difference between WWE and WWF?
No clue.
So my best guess is WWF is an old league that got bought by the WWE and now became WWE, because it used to be that essentially this would be a great episode probably.
Well, I think Nick Schellenberger is going to have an episode on this at some point.
I would love that. Essentially, there used to be a bunch of different leagues.
Schellenberger's in my fantasy football league.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
He and we send memes to each other all day, every day.
Wow. I don't talk to him until it's time to beat him in football.
Hey, who's winning in your fantasy league right now? Who's in the lead?
Well, it ends a week before the regular season ends, but I actually came in second place. Yeah,
okay.
regretfully. Some guy named Caleb
Congrats.
from our Ozark won.
Caleb White.
God, dude, everybody got injured, and I was so mad. Caleb Pat? Maybe he didn't go.
I don't recognize the name, but I don't remember a lot of names from Ozark.
That's okay.
Sometimes Drew Carey can be seen on the sidelines of U.S. national team soccer games as a press photographer.
He's just doing side quests now.
His images are sold via wire services under the pseudonym Brooks Parkenridge.
Hey, Lola.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
What?
I won't
What?
even look at this anymore.
That reminds, like, the fact that his pseudonym is like publicly available is funny because that reminds me of
Yeah.
the story of like LeBron James' son like didn't want to wear his dad's number, so people would like not associate him. And then the running joke is that, hey yo, who's that out there? LeBron James Jr. Really? Oh, I wonder whose kid he is. I couldn't tell by him not wearing his dad's number.
That's
Is
fine.
that why he goes by Brawny?
Yeah, actually, yes.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so Gage, now that you've shown them that Beastquake play, there is a play known as Beastquake 2.0. Seattle went to Arizona for a game, and I was living in Arizona at the time, and I went to that football game. It was known as Beastquake 2.0. The stakes weren't as high, and the game wasn't as important, and the score wasn't as close. But it was a crazy play where he broke like multiple tackles, and you can Google it, and it's not as cool as the first one, but it was still pretty cool and epic. And I went to that game, and me and my brother were like maybe 4 or 5, 6, 7, rows back in the corner of the end zone. And I remember being at the game. We loved it. We cheered so hard. And during that specific play, I remember going crazy. Like, stood up out of my chair, cheering. You know, like you stand up too fast and kind of like, you kind of blood rush, you know. Well, I get out to the car later, and we're just like sitting in the car, just like, whew, like, you know when you get in your car. And so I start scrolling Twitter. And I'm like, dude, what happened to Twitter? Like, there's like this like black splotch on the black back of the Twitter screen. I was like, that's so weird. And so I was like, whatever, like it's annoying me. So I pull up Facebook and I was like, oh, it's on Facebook too. I was like, oh, what? I think it's my phone. Like my phone's broken. Next day, I'm like, I like go to cloud. I'm trying to watch TV. I'm like, oh God, it's on the TV too. And I'm like, oh no, it's me. So I like, there's like this like black spot vision in my eye, and it was still there like after a few days. You know, guys, we're like, oh, I'll see if it goes away. Well, it didn't, and so I was like, Mom, can you like schedule like a doctor's appointment or an eye doctor optometrist appointment? And I go in and he looks at it and he's like, okay, so you have, I totally forgot the medical term name for it, but essentially, he's like, did you recently do like strenuous exercise, or like were you really constipated or something, or like really like push you, like do like a really heavy work lift out or something? Because what you did is essentially you popped a blood vessel in your eye.
Wild.
And with that black splotch you're seeing is blood like on your eye, like you're seeing through the blood, like a bruise in your eyeball essentially. And I was like trying to think, I was like, oh, I haven't been to the gym in a minute. And I was like, oh my God, I cheered so hard during Beastquake 2.0. I popped a blood vessel in my eye. So that's my Seahawks fandom, willing to sell his car, popped a blood vessel in his eye, cheering for his favorite player.
That's awesome.
Okay.
You can see why I thought that story was worth adding to the podcast.
Yeah, that's a great story.
That's very fitting, I feel like.
It is very fitting. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some football for dummies. First, I don't know a ton about football. What I do know is that I played nose guard in middle school for 1 year, which 8th grade, which means I didn't know what I was doing, and that was the position they could put me in. And my dad and I watch football together sometimes. I watched a lot of Ole Miss football this year because I'm in Mississippi now, and they are the college team that we have chosen to follow is Ole Miss, and it's local, and I love their basketball team, so the football team's fun to watch too.
Man, they had a good run this year. I was hoping they might beat Miami.
I know. I think Indiana's going to destroy Miami, though, probably.
Dude, minus the fact that, like, I read the stat, it was like there's a little over 100 players in the NFL between the ages of 22 and 25. And Indiana University, due to all these changes in NIL recently, I don't know if you've heard about it all, has about like 20-something players between the ages of 22 and 25. Yeah.
Like old.
Yeah. But they're college players.
Holy cow. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I still think they're going to win. Missouri's basketball team last season had a player who was like 28 on there. Not literally, but he was like just an old man compared to everyone else out there. He was like their best shooter.
You can really stretch the eligibility out if you like.
Well, and now you can change school every year too.
Right. I
I'm-
wonder how much someone's ever like tried to extend it out with like a red shirt and like maybe military service or something.
That's fine.
Like just drag it on. There was a COVID year you could delay due to COVID if you wanted a few years.
I mean,
Just-
I'm still eligible. So
There are a couple lower division schools that have like 30-something-year-olds that like never went to college and then just like got buff and wanted to play.
great.
I'm surprised
Honestly?
you said you played nose tackle. Like I didn't know you played.
Just for 1 year. It was 8th
year.
grade. And
Wow.
my dad was a football player. He was a tight end, and he always he wanted me to at least give football a shot. And I finally decided I would. I was the smallest guy on the line. And it was not the most fun thing in the world, but I did enjoy it. I just preferred soccer as we got into high school and stuff,
For sure.
where I was one of the biggest guys on the field. But yeah, so that's the extent of my knowledge. Is I don't like the Chiefs that much.
Amen.
I am a Packers fan because my grandpa got me a Brett Favre jersey when I was like 2.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. Yeah.
And right now I kind of like the Giants. I know they're not still in it, but I kind of like the Giants because they picked up Jackson Dart from Ole Miss, and he had an okay season. So
Stellar. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty good.
what does
Yeah.
DJ know, real quick, before we get into
Sure.
football for dummies? What does DJ know?
More
plays
than
more
Gage,
Madden than me.
probably. Yeah. Not a lot. I'm bad. I'm very bad.
He's better
But-
than me.
We'll see.
We're sort of on
We'll
a
see.
fun podcast while playing Madden.
We could probably make that happen.
It's true.
Next
Not
year?
right now. Yeah,
Not right now,
next
but
time,
we
next time. But yeah, so I didn't play. I never played a whole year of football. I always quit part of the way through because I didn't want to be a lineman. And even as a 5th grader, like a skinny 5th grader, they looked at me and were like, lineman. So like I don't know what they saw. Like obviously now I'm built like someone that belongs on the line. So I get it. But I don't know what they saw back when I was a little guy. But
Oh,
anyways,
I hate to tell you this, DJ, but they generally put the least athletic people on the line.
yeah. Well, I also like
You probably like tripped over like a blade of grass on the way to practice, and they were like, lineman.
yeah. No, when I'd play with friends, I had a lot of fun playing as a receiver. And so every year when they're invariably like, all right, you're going to the line, I'm like, that's not what I signed up for. Have fun. Like, adios. Because I, like, my amount of conviction, like, commitment to football was so little that if I'm not going to have a good time, I'm out. So, yeah, you can say whatever about what that means about me nowadays. But I still kind of stand by that. Like, I remember in college, there was a time that I went to play Newcomb down at the volleyball court, and then Gage was with me. And after like 2 games, everyone decided like we should play volleyball, and I was like, "You guys have fun. I'm leaving because I came to play Newcomb." And then they're like, "No, we can play Newcomb. It's fine." But like, no, now you'd be playing for me. I'm leaving. You guys play volleyball. So, anyways, I come for something, and if it's not there, I'm leaving. So I have never played a full season of football.
That's so funny because I remember going down and playing volleyball, and then people would be like, "Hey, let's play Nukem," and that was my cue to leave.
That's funny. Great. I'm not athletic enough for real volleyball.
Yeah.
Just the perfect amount of athleticism. I'm like a freak when it comes to Newcomb. Like an athletic genetic freak at Newcomb. And then volleyball, hot garbage. Anyways,
I'll agree
Football.
with the hot part.
thank you. Football. I'll watch videos on like how to read defenses and stuff like that because I want to be better at video games. So I'll watch videos and do that, and I'm garbage at it. So I know like nothing is ever like stuck in my head, but I know some about. I know generally like I've got a pretty good understanding of the rules. I don't know like I know there are obscure rules that I don't know because there are a lot of rules. Like, yeah, I feel like I've generally got a pretty good knowledge of a football game. I can watch a whole football game generally and not have questions like, oh, what was happening there? What was that? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes you guys more well informed than like I wouldn't say the average fan, but probably the average Joe.
Sure.
Sure. I I have an idea of what a 4-3 defense is.
You said
That's
that,
when-
and that was a little surprising because like you prefaced that with I don't know much about football, and then you said that, and I was like, that's not something nobody knows about, you know. Like,
that's when the defense sneaks in 43 people all at once to play defense.
My dad was just explaining, because I asked him, I was like, okay, so where is a linebacker? Where's a safety? Where's a cornerback? Stuff like where do these guys go? He was like, well, one of the, like, it kind of depends on the defensive structure. You could have a 4-3 defense, 4-2 defense, where you'll have 4 guys on the line and you'll have 3 guys in the backfield, and then the other guys kind of spread out or like behind the line or something like that. And that was a conversation we had a week ago because I have started playing this game on my phone that's essentially Madden Ultimate Team or whatever.
Okay.
And my quarterback, I don't know who he is. It's Justin Herbert.
The Chargers quarterback.
And my backup is Dak Prescott
Okay. Cowboys
for the Cowboys. And my backup's backup is Brock Purdy. And
49ers
that's
quarterback.
all I know is the players I have.
Yeah, well, man, I wanted to start. Like, I feel like it's like chess in some ways. Like, there's a lot of like positions and stuff, but like, you can't really appreciate chess unless you really know what each position does. But I feel like you can appreciate football without knowing what each position does. So like, for like someone who knows like nothing, and I think it's probably one of the hardest games to try to explain without like a literal visual representation in front of you. But
I've got
2 hands. He's got 2 hands.
give me one moment. I'll be right back.
I need like a field and like stick figures, but
All right, what shapes do you need from me?
that's okay, DJ. I think it would take a long time to draw. Explain to you what to draw. Funny story though about the way Angela said my name with like a baby voice that threw me off just now.
Sure.
I was at Third Thursday in Joplin. You know Third Thursday, Gage?
Yeah. It's like a street thing where like street vendors and stuff like that.
Yeah, they closed
and
down
local
Main Street.
businesses.
Well, they had like these like free 10-minute massage things, like advertised this massage place, and I had my dog with me because you can walk your dog at it, you know, it's outdoors. And I sit down at the massage chair, and the massage lady is like, "And who's this?" And I thought she was talking to me, and I was like, "My name's Hayden." We're like a minute into the massage, and you know, it's obviously massages are already awkward and intimate, and she's like, "Who's a good Hayden? How's Hayden doing today?" And I'm like terrified, frozen. And I'm like, no, I gotta like immediately put a stop to this. I was like, were you asking my name earlier or the dog's name? Because the dog's name is Patty, and my name is Hayden. And she just busted out laughing, you know. But it was hilarious.
Oh, hey, that's a
right
good, yeah.
track there. I think if we were to actually like do like a real like explainer to someone, that there's some potential. But
Thank you.
Football for Dummies.
The tush push.
Goal is to win the game. You win the game by scoring the most points. You can score points in a couple of different ways. 2 most common ways are touchdowns and field goals. Field goal is you kick the ball through the yellow uprights that you see at the end of the field for 3 points. A touchdown is a player has to cross the plane of the end zone with the football. And football, you know, can be notorious for all of its rules and stuff, but something I really enjoy is like as I've become more and more knowledgeable about the rules in the game, there's almost a sense in which like it makes sense to you. Like you can almost like input yourself into the world of football. And when something is happening on the field or rules being discussed or new rules being introduced, like a little more advanced watchers like myself can like almost intuitively like understand like, no, that's why this makes sense in this situation, why that doesn't make sense. Yes, that is a football. So you have to cross the boundary of the end zone by either catching it in the end zone or running it into the end zone with the football to score a touchdown.
I'm listening. I just have to step away for a second. I can still hear you.
You're great. You're good. And so in order to get closer to the end zone, an offense possesses the football. They have ownership of it, and they get what's called downs, and they get 4 downs. And this is probably the harder introductory concept to get for a novice watcher of football. But basically, you get 4 tries is what it is. 4 downs is 4 tries to move the ball 10 yards. And you can move the ball by running it or throwing it. But if you throw it and no one catches it, that's okay. You get another try. But if you run it, you go wherever the player goes down with anything that touches the ground besides their hand or foot or head. So, and this is where like that intuitive part of the game comes in, is like when a player's shoulder or elbow or knee or thigh or shin hits the ground, like we can watch the game and like see a play occur, and I'll be like, no, that's down. Like his body, this XYZ body part touch that is considered down. Usually the joints are big keys. So shoulder, elbow, wrist, knee, ankles have been called before. Like players have like rolled their ankles pretty seriously and been called down.
Two things. One, Hayden, I showed this to DJ. This is that jersey my grandpa got me.
Nice. You said you got that when you were 4? Wait, it's signed?
I was like 2.
It's signed by Brett Favre?
Yes, sir.
That's cool.
I need to get it framed. It's just been in my closet this whole time. Literally for the past 25 years.
Man.
Longer than that, 26,
Do you know,
27.
I'm sure this is a stupid question. I know you know Diego Maldonado.
Yes.
Maldonado. So I don't know how much you're on Instagram. Have you heard of the daily rejection therapy guy? So he just wrapped it up, but last year he did this daily rejection therapy where every day he went out and like asked someone like a very basic thing, but like to like get used to getting rejected. And it ended up turning into like this whole like, actually people are really kind and accepting, and he got way more yeses than nos. But it'd be like, can I ride your bike, or can I like jump on your trampoline, or can I like make my own ice cream cone at your ice cream store? And anyways, he did this side project now where he's trying to trade from a paperclip to a house, and his biggest upgrade yet is that he got a signed Diego Maldonado jersey, and he's asking like DK for it or something. Like, yeah.
Okay. So on to the topic of downs, I did have a question. They call it differently at like college and NFL level, right? Like in college, isn't it like
body parts?
Like different body parts count as a down as opposed to the NFL? Or is that like high school to the level? Because I know that like if anything touches the ground, it's a down in high school pretty much, other than your feet.
So as far as I understand, man, you're really getting in the nitty gritty here.
And that's not important. It was in my head, so I had to ask.
So the biggest difference in terms of being down in college and the pros is that in the pros,
you have more money.
If you possess the ball and pass the line of scrimmage and you go down, but no defensive player has touched you, you're allowed to get up and keep going. And in college, as soon as if there's players that trip wide open, go into the end zone, they've tripped and they're called down because that's the college rule. But in the pros, if no one's touched you, you're allowed to get up and keep going.
I think that's what I remember it being. It was something like that.
No, it gets a little gray behind the line of scrimmage. If you're the quarterback and you go down or not, can you get back up? I'm not entirely certain on all that, but yeah. So that's football for dummies in terms of positions. There's some major ones like quarterback. I think most people know what a quarterback is. They run the offense, they call the plays, they throw the ball, and they hand it off. There's wide receivers. The name's kind of in the name. They receive the ball. They're primarily catchers. There's running backs. It's also in the name. They tend to run the ball more often. There's a bunch of other positions. Those are the main ones on offense. On defense, I can't really pinpoint one that like has a like intuitive sense name to it, you know. But
linebacker.
I can break them all down if you're curious.
Linebacker has it's behind the line. It backs the line.
I mean, yeah, but not in the way that like running back or wide receiver kind of give it away, I guess. Yeah. I mean, quarterback doesn't really tell me anything either, you know.
Yeah, what's a cornerback?
Corner?
Yeah, what's a cornerback?
Corners primarily guard wide receivers.
Okay.
So they're generally one-on-one, but not always. Their job is generally to shut down the pass. Versus linebackers tend to... So there's two main types of styles of defense. There's a man coverage and a zone defense. And man is straightforward. Everyone's pretty much assigned to a man.
Mm-hmm.
And no one really ever plays like a true man defense because usually you're trying to build an advantage by like taking someone off to guard someone else, you know? And there's usually 4 defensive linemen to 5 offensive linemen so that the defense can almost always right away get an advantage because D linemen tend to have the advantage of like it's easier to slip through an offensive lineman than it is to guard a defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then zone also, I guess, kind of speaks to itself. Every player tends to be assigned a zone of their area of the field that they're responsible for, and there's usually overlap between their zone and other players' zones, so that no matter what, someone will get there.
All right,
Told
let's
you.
talk football predictions.
Yeah, football
Okay.
predictions. Okay.
All right, boys. Here's the teams, NFC and AFC. I'm going to list the teams in the NFC, and you got to tell me who's left, and you got to tell me who you think is going to make the Super Bowl this year. You ready?
Oh, I got to
Okay.
tell you who's left. I'm not allowed to. I pulled up a bracket. I didn't look at it yet.
Okay, all right. I'm not going to tell you who's hosting who. I'm not going to tell you how good anyone is. Just straight up teams. You got to pick from. There's 2 groups of 4 left. So on the NFC, did you watch the football games last week, DJ? So should I do the full thing with him, Gage, or just stick with who's left?
I would just stick with who's left.
I've
All
got
right.
a bracket here. So.
All right, DJ. Don't look. Look at me.
I'm not.
Eyes on
I'm
me.
not.
Eyes on me.
It's over here. It's over here.
All right. The Bears are playing the Rams, and the Seahawks are playing the 49ers. And then the winner of those 2 games play each other. So you got to predict who's going to win each of those, and then who's going to win the next game.
So I'm going Da Bears.
Da Bears.
Bears over Rams, and then
It was Seahawks and who?
Niners.
49ers for days. It's not
I
even a
hate you.
competition at this
I hate
point.
you so much.
I
All right.
Yeah,
So-
I'm going to have to go 49ers.
I was
Okay,
I
so-
was just
So versus Bears in the championship game, who do you got going to the Super Bowl?
Bears.
40.
49ers again. Okay. All right, Bears.
If they can beat Seattle, they can beat anyone.
I would agree with you there. If they won tomorrow, I'd feel great about their chances going all the way.
Also, this is coming out Sunday, so a couple of these games will have already happened by the time this episode releases.
Which will make it even
But they
funnier.
have not happened yet as of recording. So, listener, be prepared.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the AFC side right now, the Bills are about to play the Broncos, and the Patriots are going to play the Houston Texans. And then the winners again of those games play each other. Predictions?
Broncos, Patriots.
Okay.
Broncos Texans.
And who wins that second game?
For my buddy Adam's sake, I'll call it for the Broncos.
For my buddies Ian and Rhett, who also have a podcast called the Long Distance Kicks Podcast, where they talk about Broncos football, I'm going with the Broncos.
Soren
Go with
Rhett
them.
Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and DJ's old life group leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm the only one who shouted him out.
Did you had Ian, right?
No, I had Luke Proctor.
Okay. Cool.
Dude, what a cool guy.
I did a Bible study with Ian, though, and Adam Reynolds. I don't know if you would have ever met him for any
Sounds
reason.
fake.
Really cool dude. He's 10 years older than us. He didn't go to Ozark. He did go to seminary, though. Really cool guy.
Right.
Abby.
So we've got a Broncos, Bears / 49ers Super Bowl. DJ, Broncos or 49ers? Who's winning the Super Bowl?
I don't love my friend Adam enough. 49ers.
Gage, Broncos or Bears?
In a fight between a bear and a horse,
Taking
I
the
got to
Bears.
go for the bear. Like,
The Bears.
da bears.
So, analysis of predictions. So, the downside to doing these when we are is that by virtue of being in the second round and there's only 8 teams left, like every team legitimately stands a very good chance of winning the
Sure.
Super Bowl.
That's also an upside if you think about it.
For your predictions?
Yeah, I mean, it's an upside too because, like, it's debatable, right? It's not like we just
Yeah.
picked the obvious
and for
wrong
just
choice.
$5, you can join DraftKings today for $300 in free bets.
And
Let's talk about the latest betting scandal sponsored by DraftKings.
oof.
Yeah, we're not even gonna talk about that. But okay, analysis of your predictions. Now I know I come across very biased as a Seahawks fan.
Sure.
But I genuinely think I'm still nervous because it's divisional rival, so anything could happen. But I feel like the easiest pick of the weekend, and Vegas would also say the easiest pick of the weekend is Seahawks over Niners. They opened as a 7-point favorite, which is really high, especially for a playoff game. So here's a couple factors going into the game. Now, first of all, you have to know that the Seahawks quarterback is Sam Darnold, who was on the Vikings last year and led the Vikings to a 14-3 record. One of the best seasons in all of football, like fantastic season. The NFC North last year, that division, Vikings, Packers, Bears, Lions, was a phenomenal division, who I think lost a total of like, between the 4 teams, like 9 games lost outside to people outside of their division.
Wild.
And the Vikings actually didn't lose a single game, I think, to anyone outside the division until the last game of the season. They played the Lions, and the winner would get the 1 seed and host a playoff game.
I was kind of surprised the Lions didn't do as well this year. They had a great season last year.
I know. I was disappointed. And Sam Darnold had a terrible game, choked, as they say. It says now he's known for choking in the crucial moment. But they had won so many games, they get the 5 seed. They go on the road to the Rams. Once again, choked first game of the playoffs. So this team won 14 games, first round of playoff exit.
Wild.
So he has that reputation, but the Vikings had drafted a quarterback the year before who tore his ACL, but he was like this star out of Michigan who was supposed to like lead the team. So that whole season was actually supposed to be a rebuilding year, or just like a waiting year, and then they went off. And then they get rid of the guy to the Seahawks, and once again has led the team to a 14-3 record. And once again, the last game of the regular season was against a division rival to decide who would get the 1 seed for the playoffs. But this time, he won. So, big game. Everyone thought he might choke. He had another big game against the Rams a few weeks prior where he actually did choke, and then he came back and won the game. So, those rumors have kind of been a little dispelled, but now it's like, we got the 1 seed, we got a bye. So we actually we don't even have a playoff win. Like, we have nothing at the moment. But going into this game, hold on, I need to plug in my beer. Going into this game, so get this. We just beat the Niners 2 weeks ago. They had to play another game that they barely won against the Eagles in Philadelphia. That game was in San Francisco that we beat them. This game is in Seattle. Now, Brock Purdy, their quarterback, is 4-0 in Seattle, but those 4 wins have come when Seattle's been historically bad, and this season's come out of nowhere. Like, we all Seahawks fans are like, how are we doing this? Like, we haven't been really good lately, and now we're the number 1 seed in the NFC, and some people are ranking us number 1 team in the NFL right now. So we just beat the Niners in Santa Clara, in San Francisco 2 weeks ago. This game's in Seattle. We've had a week off to rest. And here's the craziest thing that I don't understand about the NFL schedule, and this is the one that I really think is like genuinely unfair. Last week, the Rams and the Bears both played separate games on Saturday. This week, they're playing Sunday. So they have 7 days plus a day. They have 8 whole days of rest. The Niners played on Sunday and now are playing their next game on this Saturday. Why is the Bears-Rams game not on Saturday, a 7-day rest, and the 49ers game on Sunday for a 7 days rest? The 49ers have 6 days rest against the team with a week of rest. So that also goes against your predictions. And they just lost their star tight end, George Kittle, in this most recent playoff game. So I might be biased, but I think your worst prediction was saying 49ers over Seahawks.
Okay. I can live with that.
Yeah, I can live with that too.
Bears-Rams is going to be an interesting one. I think the Bears was the better pick because the Rams have faltered a little bit here and there. The Bears are on fire, but the Bears are known for coming back late. So there's a worry that they could get down too far and it would just be too much to come back from. But they've had some like historical comebacks. The numbers analysis is like, this is unreal.
Isn't it like the most like come from behind in the fourth quarter wins ever in a season?
Something outrageous, yeah. And this game's in Chicago, outdoors, expected to be 20-degree temperatures against a team from LA whose best practice conditions is turning on the air conditioner.
Yeah. Okay.
So, could be Bears by a landslide. Historically, the Rams are, I think Matthew Stafford's 1-8 in games like below freezing or something, and has like as many interceptions as touchdowns, basically. So, not looking good. So, the Bears was a great pick. Bills, Broncos is probably going to be the game to watch because Bills is a cold weather team. Broncos are on a week of rest. The Bills are firing on all cylinders. The Bills just beat the Jags in Jacksonville. It was a good game. It was close, but it was good. That could go either way. The Broncos do have the 1 seed, so they have a week rest, so they have that going for them.
They also have Bo Nix.
You guys also said Bill. You said if Bills were in it, you're going Bills all the way, and then you immediately went Broncos.
It was a joke because 2 years ago when we did this, we had the Buffalo Bills winning everything because of the serial killer from The Silence of the Lambs.
I see. There's a lot of Chiefs fans this year who the Chiefs are out. And surprisingly, even though they don't like Josh Allen, they're rooting for him because their logic is go get it now while the Chiefs are out. Go get your ring, get it over with, and then go back to like being our little brother, you know, which I kind of find offensive. And there's some stupid people out there that are like, anyone who wins the Super Bowl this year will always have an asterisk next to their name because the Chiefs, they didn't have to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. It's like, really? The Patriots game against the Texans, it's probably leaning heavily Patriots, especially in New England. The weather's not looking good. But the Texans played pretty good in Pittsburgh, an outdoor stadium last week, and their defense was pretty lights out. Drake May is a newer quarterback, still hasn't really proven himself too much yet. I think he's only in his second year. Could be interesting, could be a shutout if the weather's too cold, I think. Patriots Broncos, that's going to be the game to watch as well. Classic historical rivalry as well between those two teams. It would be in Denver, and I think that could be the difference maker for my prediction.
Altitude man.
But if the Bills pull it off and it's in New England, home, that's in New York or in New England area where Bills also play, I think the Bills could potentially pull that off. But you have to know some history. The Bills have been to 4 Super Bowls in a row in the 90s and lost them all 4. 4 years back to back to back to back.
Wild.
Bad luck. Yep. Other history on the other side. 49ers have been to the NFC Championship game 7 times in the last 15 years. Guess how many Super Bowls they have to show for it?
Wild.
0. They have 4 or 5 Super Bowl appearances in that same time span. So they won 4 or 5 of those NFC Championship games. They played the Chiefs 2 years ago and 4 years ago, and lost both. And then they played against the Ravens like 12 years ago, lost that one. Multiple NFC Championship games, choked away. They are the choke artists of the century. Nothing to show for it. So they don't have history on their side either right now, going for them. So my prediction there, Seahawks for sure. It'd be probably going to be Seahawks-Bears. I think at that point, experience comes into play, and the Seahawks would be hosting the game. I don't think the Bears could pull it off in Seattle. Genuine prediction, not biased.
Sure.
So we got Seahawks versus, really hard to predict, but Broncos, Bills, or Patriots. It could be Seahawks, Bills, which would be a heartbreaker for a lot of people because a lot of people would want both people to win. But I think the Bills have more people wanting them to win because of their rough history, and like Josh Allen's kind of a likable guy. Bills fans are kind of, had been in the dumps for a while. Seahawks, Broncos. Well, the Broncos choked that Super Bowl away 12 years ago, so that would be rough for them. They might get some vendetta energy, but that team's also so long ago that no one's on the team anymore. Seahawks, Patriots, I genuinely don't think I could handle. Like, I'd rather lose to the 49ers. Like, I do not want to even risk the thought of playing the Patriots again. The thought of playing them again, even 10 plus years later, and losing, and even similar, like winning
That was
would be great. The redemption would be
Deflategate,
great.
wasn't it?
We're not talking about, that game, but like the opportunity at redemption versus the cost of failure the cost is too high. The risk is too high. The anxiety, I could not handle it. I don't even want to risk it. It's not even worth it. I'd rather knock us out now than go to the playoffs and go against the Patriots and lose again. And they've had so many championships. Everyone's kind of like, oh, the darlings are back. It's like they have 6 wins, Super Bowl wins in the last in this century. Like, what do you mean? They had two bad years. They had 2 bad years, and now we're like, oh, they're good again. Like, oh, it's been so long. No, it's been 2 years, bro. That's my analysis and predictions. If it's Seahawks, Bills, toss up. Seahawks, Broncos, toss up. Seahawks, Patriots. God, I don't want to even imagine that future.
So you have the Seahawks regardless making it.
I think they're the best team in the NFC. I mean, they're 2 games away. Niners, like I said, they present like the worst challenge. I think they're the worst team left. They're a good team, but they're missing a lot of people. I haven't even talked about their injuries on the defensive, and they have a lot of linebackers out. They're on their like literal 5th string linebackers. If the game's in Seattle, I don't think the Bears can handle it. Too much inexperience. Caleb Williams is great. I just think it might be too much. The defense has been stellar, lights out this year on the Seahawks, and the Bears defense hasn't been known for shutting people out per se. So you should also know the Texans defense is stellar, the Patriots defense is stellar, the Broncos defense is stellar, the Bills defense is not great.
Well, that's our predictions. I've got the Bears. DJ has the 49ers or the Broncos. Yeah, the 49ers. And Hayden has potentially the Seahawks.
NFC all the way. All right. NFC
the Seahawks or the Patriots.
This whole podcast could really sting come out Sunday.
Oh, it could for sure. And you know what? That makes it more fun for me.
My prediction: the Patriots convinced Tom Brady to sign on for one more game, and he leads them to one more Super Bowl victory.
Just to give you an idea of how invested
Here's the thing,
I
though,
was.
all the
football,
old quarterbacks that have been playing this season, though, I mean, wouldn't be the weirdest thing.
To give you an idea of how invested I was in football 10 years ago, just you mentioning Tom Brady coming back to play the Seahawks actually made me tear up a little bit. Like, genuinely the thought of an inkling of a fear made me tremor to that point.
Well,
I was legit depressed for a month. Oh, sorry.
No,
I went into a genuine depression for a month last time.
I'm looking up the game now.
No.
I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just looking it up. I'm not going to acknowledge it.
Let's play the Beastquake instead, or the San Francisco Tip, or the comeback against the Packers in the NFC Championship.
I'll watch the Beastquake video right now.
Let's play a compilation of Joe Madden saying Brett Favre.
John
Madden saying Brett Favre.
So there's actually this terrible trend where people will like send videos and then like the video randomly cuts to something bad, you know? Maybe you've seen like people like jump scares and stuff or other things.
Yeah,
sure.
But there's one in particular multiple people love to send me where jump scares cuts to that play in the Super Bowl of the Seahawks. And I'm always like, screw you. Like, you're a terrible person.
So there you have it, listener. Those are our predictions for the playoffs, what remains of the playoffs, and what doesn't remain as of the time this actually comes out. Thank you for hanging out with us. Leave your own predictions in the comments below or make fun of us for our predictions when they inevitably go wrong.
Please pray for me.
Pray for Hayden. You can do that in terms of the Super Bowl or just in general.
Yeah.
Pray for any of us, actually. You know what?
Please.
If that's... Yeah, please. I'm sure we need it in some way. Thank you for hanging out with us this long. I don't know how long this episode's actually going to be. We'll find out.
20 minutes.
20 minutes, maybe. Who knows?
Depends on how long you pray.
That
Make sure to pray for us, not to us, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Got to get a dig in on the Catholics.
I'm a good guy. I'm a bad God.
Anyways, so we are grateful for you for hanging out with us this far.
Yes.
Thank you for just partaking in everything that we do. Hayden, thank you so much for joining us today and for helping us have this little journey into a world that we are not that familiar with. And yeah, I want to say thank you to a few other people. Thank you, Adam Ward, for our intro music, Jacob Casey, who comes in and does it every once in a while as well, and Jared Scrother for our outro music. But thank you to DJ for being my co-host, and happy late birthday as well. Everybody say happy birthday in the comments if you've made it this far.
Happy birthday.
We know you made it this far.
You made it, Hayden.
Yeah, you made it, Hayden. Anyways, that's what I've got. Thank you, guys. Enjoy yourselves. That's a weird way to say that. Have a good Super Bowl.
Yeah. If you happen to see Drew Carey while you're out and about, tell him to thank himself. See you guys.